Hello and welcome to a little session I'm calling I'm with the Band, Pilates, which includes Pilates with the THERABAND. You may want a THERABAND that is longer, like the length of your body, and also a band that is a little thinner than the normal fitness band. When we're working on our arm muscles, you may then want a band that is perhaps a little shorter and thicker. And let's inhale, stretch the arms up and overhead, and exhale, lower down. Little bend in the knees as we stretch up. And exhale, lowering down. Reaching through each fingertip, creating that energy right to the tips of the fingers. And now we're going to select a band or find our band, holding in both hands. A little wider than shoulder width apart. Palms facing down, and soften the knees. Exhale as you lift the arms up and over and behind. So a nice little chest expansion. Great stretch for the arms and shoulders and chest. Inhale up and overhead and exhale down. See if you can drop to the tailbone. And then inhale, bring it back up and over and dropping to the thighs. Find that full range of motion and keeping your elbows soft. So not locking the arms and trying not to flex the wrists. So try to keep the wrists straight so you don't see any crease lines at the top of the wrists. And if you want, you can walk the hands a little closer to each other for a deeper, more intense stretch. Here at the top, we're going to reach to the side for that side body stretch. Inhale to the center and exhale, switch to the other side. Let's keep the legs and hips centered and still and use our side body to transition our upper body from side to side. Keep the head right in the center of both shoulders, so the crown of the head is lifting up to the center of the band. And you should not feel your low back. If you do, let's draw in those abdominals and drop down that tailbone just a little bit more. Lowering the band in front of you, the height of the chest. We're going to work on a combination move, adding the side bend and that chest expansion at the same time. And we'll try the other side, taking it to the side and then opening up the band behind you down to the tailbone and up and overhead. And again, lateral flexion, chest expansion, breath, and posture. And if you like, you can look up to the ceiling or keep the gaze forward. And we'll try a few more times. Just warming up through the upper body, the side body, and staying stabilized in our hips and lower body. Let's open that right back behind us so the arms are parallel to the floor and try a few twists. The trunk of the body rotates and the upper body follows along, looking behind that shoulder, side to side. And you can allow some movement in your lower body with this one. So it's not so rigid. It's flowing and fluid, a move that affects the complete body. And let the band drop down to the tail for an inhale, and exhale, bring it back up and overhead. Floating those heels up into a balance. Draw abdominals in, stand tall, think happy thoughts. Positivity is queen. Lowering the band all the way down, drop those heels and shake it on out. Okay, moving into our rear delt, back of the shoulder exercise. It's a very small move. Palms are facing down and you're going to pull the band apart so that the band travels closer to the chest, and then release the tension, but not all the way. So always keep a little bit of tension in your band as the arms move forward. Exhale to pull and inhale to return. And now let's pulse it out 8 times. Working through the back of the shoulder, the upper back, and release. Let's try one more of those chest expansions up and overhead just to stretch it out. And then diving forward over those legs into a little inversion and a secret band switch for me. We're going to do that one more time. So I found that that band was a little bit too thick, too heavy. So I'm going to use a lighter, thinner band and try that again. So I'm just doing a little wrist work here, allowing my knuckles to open outwards and inwards from my wrist joint, and then finding the happy medium and then not moving those wrists or elbows, but finding the movement in the shoulder blades, squeezing together to widen the band. So try not to do this from the arms. Try to move from the back of the shoulders and the upper back. And pulsing it out 8 times. Reach those knuckles long. Keep the chest lifted, abdominals engaged. And a little bonus move. We're going to bend the elbows halfway in and then pull the band apart. Keep the tension on the band on the way in and on the way out. So this is getting a little bit more into the backs of our arms, our triceps. Thinking happy thoughts, making it through. You did it. Yes, shake it out. Good job. You're the best. Breathe in. Breathe out. Some shoulder shakes, some looks side to side just to release any tension in our shoulders and neck. And now we're going to take the band in one hand and the other hand is going to hold the bottom of the band. The closer the hands are to each other, the more intense. This is one of my favorite exercises for back of the arms, triceps. So exhale and pull the band apart, and inhale, let those elbows bend so the hands move towards each other. Drop tailbone. Let's pulse it out 8 times. Keep those elbows nice and close to the body so they're not jutting out too wide. And now pull the band apart. Arms are straight. Breathe in. Breathe out. Woo! Let it go. Swish and swirl. And let's switch sides. Reaching one arm up and overhead and the other arm is tucking behind you. Let's pull those elbows nice and close in towards the body. And with your exhale, pull the band apart. Find those tricep muscles. And keep those Pilates principles in mind: the breath connection, the posture, the core engagement, the concentration. Exhale, pull. Inhale, return. Going for about 8 of these, and then we'll pulse it out for about 8 times. And the last one, we're going to pull it apart, arms straight, lots of energy here. Let's breathe in as we hold. And release and shake it out and let it go. Nice job. Okay, so we're going to take a wider stance. Soften the knees. Let's reach the arms to the sky overhead. And we're going to do a little work for the lats and the biceps. So I like doing this move with the band behind the head, like you're shaving off the back of your head with the band. If you want, you can bring the band forward so it's coming right down to your eyebrows, because some shoulders may not like this range of motion with the arms opening up this far behind. But I just really like the connection to my back body, my shoulder blades squeeze. We're going to keep the elbows bent and then just lift a few inches up and pull it back down. 8 pulses here. Widen the band, keep pulling it apart. And now straighten the arms a little bit away from the center and allow them to bend back in for a little bit of tricep work. 8 times. Nice straight strong arms at the end, and release. Good job. Shake it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Give those shoulders a few rolls. And now we're going to get ready to get more acquainted with our mat. So stand at the back end of the mat, soften the knees, and let's roll down those legs into a forward bend. Bringing the hands on the mat. Bend your knees a little bit more if you need to, and just slowly take the head side to side. A nice inversion, a great neck release, great stretch for the back, the glutes, the legs, and walk those hands forward so you're walking out into a plank position. Zip up the abs, reach the tailbone long to the heels. Let's draw the chin up and in so we find that alignment. And then lowering the knees and lowering all the way down onto your front body, onto your mat. Just bringing the elbows under the shoulders so our chest is lifted, getting used to this back bend. Stay for a breath here and add the look from side to side. Love to keep a little bit of rotation and movement in some of our poses. And now we're going to lower down towards more of a neutral position in our spine just for a moment. We are going to be moving into some more spinal extensions. So holding that band a little wider than the shoulders, we're going to lift up with the arms and legs and try to pull the band apart at the top. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Let's think about lengthening. Let's lift and reach and lengthen through those legs, even point through the toes. And then reach those knuckles forward away from the toes so you create that long, lengthening alignment. Floating up into a back bend and then lowering back down towards neutral. Now we're going to see if we can add on by lifting the arms up and overhead, flexing the feet, pointing the toes, and bringing the band and the arms back over and down again. So combining that first move we did from standing, that chest opener, here in a different starting position. And exhale to lift, inhale at the top. Exhale to return and inhale at the bottom. So great work for the shoulders, great opener still for the chest, Great strengthener for the entire back body, which has to participate in the spinal extension. And just take your time here. If you want to add the footwork, you'll flex the feet at the top and point the toes at the bottom. It just accentuates the whole move. Get some more participating muscle groups. And let's hold here and pulse it out. Keep the arms relatively straight and 8 pulses, widening, widening, widening. And release, just rocking the hips side to side. Let go of any tightness across your low back. And lifting one leg up, reaching it long, lower it down. And the other leg. Pull some length out of the hip sockets. And we'll add on here. We're going to keep that hip extension as we lift up with the band in the upper body and start to kick up and down with the legs into a Pilates swimming exercise. Great. Stack the hands, bend the knees, rock the legs side to side. Breathe in. Let it go. Release, relax for a moment. And coming back up onto the elbows. We'll curl the toes and we'll float up into an elbow plank here. Work against gravity as you exhale. Tighten the ribs around the spine. Pop the hips up a little higher and drop the knees to sit back into child's pose. Breathe into the back. And rolling on up, let's sit to the side and swivel the legs out in front of us, moving into a seated position. I am going to use my handy kitty pillow just behind me for this next one. It's going to provide a little bit of support for my low back and give me a great connection to my sacrum. Wrapping the band around one foot and holding with that same side arm, we're going to move into a little sequence I call the twisted monkey. It helps me to remember the sequence. So first it's going to be a roll down halfway and then come right back up. Keep the tension on the band, so keep those arms lifting at shoulder height. Now hold here halfway back and start to bend that elbow holding the band and twist to the side, looking over that shoulder. Reach your opposite arm forward. And now exhale and lift the leg that's in the band, and the foot presses into the band as the elbow pulls back. We're twisting and breathing. Hold it here and just start to pulse back with that arm. Pull, pull, pull. Keep the legs straight if you can. And return. Woo! Lots of things happening there. Flexion and twisting and balancing. Leg number 2, switch the band to the other foot, holding with the same side hand, and take it about halfway down and then roll back up, sitting tall on top of your sitting bones. And adding on, we're going to stay halfway down and let's pull that band behind us by bending the elbow. Feel some work in the back of the shoulder, the upper back, and let your other arm extend long forward as you twist. Add the leg lifting as you bend the elbow. Find that coordination. Exhale, twist, and hold here in that arm is going to pulse back 8 times, maximizing your twist, 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 twist. Yes. Excellente. Release the twisted monkey. And while we're here, I'm just going to sit up on top of the pillow and wrap the band around both feet, the balls of the feet. The feet are flexed, toes are up, legs are straight, sitting tall. And let's do a little bit of back work. So I'm crossing the band, holding on to the opposite side of the band and maintaining posture. Exhale to pull those elbows back and wide 8 times. Keep thinking of sitting tall here. Now hold here and reach the arms out to the side. Keep your elbows up. Exhale, extend the arms, and inhale, bend them back in again. Takes a lot of core strength just to maintain this sitting tall posture. Yay! Reaching the arms forward, bend, and widen. Kind of a circular motion here. Forward, bend, and widen. You can do it. Nice. And gracefully release. Let's reach up to the ceiling and exhale, folding over those legs. And feel free to use the band here to enhance your hamstring and calf muscle stretch. Allow your spine to round and you'll get a back stretch as well. Lovely. Okay. Dismounting off of anything you were possibly sitting on, let's take a slow, controlled roll down all the way onto your back, onto your mat, into a total body stretch. Reaching the arms, stretching the legs, breathing into the ribs. We'll set up for some supine band exercises. Placing the band around both feet and putting a bicep curl bend in the elbows. Keep those arms maintaining the bicep curl position as you extend the legs and inhale, bend them back to tabletop. Add the lift of the head away from the floor, or feel free to keep the head resting on the mat. Legs are squeezing together. And finally, add the reach of the arms with the reach of the legs. They stretch up and overhead, so the biceps are right beside the ears. And we're going to take the legs straight up to the ceiling, and I'm crisscrossing the band, holding in the opposite hand, maintaining the bicep curl and the head lifted from the floor for a double leg lower and lift. Legs are lowering about 50-60% down. I want to keep a connection with my low back into the mat, staring at those kneecaps. But if you feel your neck here, feel free to keep the head resting down again. Great. And we're going to lower the head and move right into the corkscrew move. So taking the legs to the side, semicircle down and around to the other side, and switch the direction. The hips move a little bit from side to side, but the upper body stays as still as you can, resisting this movement, deepening your low abdominals. Exhale through the semicircle. And release the cross of the band. Stretch the legs straight onto the floor. Hands holding the band, and we're going to come up into a balance, straightening back out and down again. It's like a variation of the Pilates teaser, which is coming up very soon. So this is a modification, bending the knees as you float up, balancing on that sacrum tailbone. And if you can, we're going to attempt some straight legs. And I'm just lifting the arms, holding on to the band up to the sky. So toes and hands up to the sky. Chest is high, lifting up and lowering down. Exhale, balance. Yay, you did it. Wonderful. That was some great layering of a lot of abdominal moves supported by the band. So let's just roll up here into a seated position and rolling back down. Rolling on up and rolling down. Band is still around the feet. And just widening the arms at the top and then moving the arms into the center as you lower. The band can be very helpful for us to find our roll-ups and roll-downs. And part 2 of the roll-ups and roll-downs is just holding with the hands. So widening the band, flexing the feet to sit tall, pointing the toes, widening the band as you reach up and overhead. Try to keep those heels down. You might need the pillow at the low back again for some extra support, for some extra core connection if you're struggling with your roll-up. Keep the breath work. Flex the feet, lifting on up, rounding to sit up nice and tall, arms to the sky. Let's stay here jubilantly and twist from side to side. Just one more time, looking over that back shoulder. Yes, stretch a little higher, look to the sky, and fold over those legs for one more forward fold with the band in hand. Looking to the toes, breathing in. Awesome job. The band is such a great tool to help you find some of your alignment and intensify some of your exercises. So good job. Until next time, we shall do it again.